Okay, so little technical malfunction there, but I figured it was going to happen because the camera has, a 30-minute or 29-minute and 59-second timer on it. So and I just completely forgot to keep track of the time. So hopefully now maybe it will stay as is. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, left off, got the buildings, excuse me, building lines on their own layer, and they're all crispy, no aliasing on it. The window shadows on their own layer. Here we got the smoke, and we've got Superman and Goku. And if you're wondering how you can see the line art through the white, you go up here to your layer style and go to multiply. So as long as you set it to multiply, everything that is white will become transparent. All right, which is why I had that little white layer earlier. So we will do that again real quick because it looks kind of funny right now. But now all of the lines are crisp, sharp, no aliasing, so it'll print super, super nice. And the same thing, we're going to do our flats, soups. We'll do Superman kind of quick. Again, I'm just using the freeform lasso tool with a feather of 0 and aliasing deselected. So that way it keeps this crisp edge. And just for, we'll just pick a random color, it doesn't matter. So just going to see what's going on. What we're going to do is just and at this stage, just going through and selecting basically all of the parts, just separating the parts so it's easier to select them later on in the process. And honestly, if I was doing this without recording, I would do the background first and then the foreground, work my way from back to front. But just so it's easier to look at on screen, I'm going to do the figures first. The only downside to recording this while doing it is the computer likes to slow down sometimes. And it makes selecting a little wonky. See, like right then. And in flatting, I will say this until my dying day, is the most boring part of this entire process. I hate it so much. And what's crazy as I did it professionally for 8 years, I think. Got to work on a lot of cool books, but man, it was flattening with the walkup is pretty easy, but using a mouse like I was doing back then was no fun. And honestly, I wouldn't be feeling this in as I go if I wasn't recording this either. But again, trying to make it a little easier to understand visually as I'm going along. Oops. And of course, like I said, Goku here, with him being on his own layer, we'll just hide him real quick. It's one of the good things about working digital, since I need to adapt this to different formats. I can move things around and shift them pretty easy. So again, we're going to put Goku on his own layer. Normally, just do all the flats in one layer, but since I'm going to be doing them separately, might as well go ahead and keep our renders separate also. And when you're doing your flats, you can use whatever color you want. You can make them all grayscale if you want, all blue. Doesn't matter because you're just going to be using them as a selector later on. But if you want to give yourself a little help, you can flat using colors that are similar to your starting render colors. And since I can see through him, it's kind of annoying. So let's get rid of that. Turn all the background layers off until I get him flatted in. And if you do see, the delay is crazy. want your polygonal lines here to be kind of in the middle of your line art. Yeah. You want to stick as close to the middle there as you can. It'll help with printing later on. So now we've got two main characters. And if I want to do this, I can do. Now, visually, it kind of looks the same. Now, and I could probably. I think I'm just going to do all of the buildings. Just flat all the buildings on one layer. I don't think it's really worth keeping all of those separate. And there's no. I don't really need to worry about any of this, but just usually when I say that 20 hours from now it'll come back to bite me. So just in case. All right. So, um, again, it doesn't matter. We'll just fill it with blue. Hmm. All right. So I definitely forgot to do something up here. So let's take. We'll just do a little bit of this. Good enough. All right. Oops. And for oops, didn't mean to do that. And you don't want to use like grays when you're doing your flatting, simply because if you want to use hue saturation, if you use just pure gray, there's nothing to change. There's no hue saturation to change. So even if you want to do a gray, come over this way just a little bit on your color wheel. Because later on, when you have it selected, you can hue saturate, change your colors to get them closer to kind of what you have in mind. It's not important, but it's not vital. It's just something that makes things easier later on. All right, so now Gonna switch over to the polygonal lasso tool since all these lines are straight. And I'm gonna drop down into the building below. And polygonal is what I used when I had a mouse. I did all this flattening with a mouse because it was just click, 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 click. All right, building number one. And when you're flattening, you don't want to use the same color for multiple items or areas. It'll make your selection process a pain in the butt later on. So it's just good practice to remember to keep different colors for everything. Oh, I forgot those are windows. Uh, and as always, if you're curious as to what I'm doing, I have the on-screen keyboard that shows you what keyboard shortcuts I'm using. Okay, so okay, so I guess I'll just do this anyway. So let's go ahead and just just to be complete. There we go. Just to be thorough. So we have everything kind of blocked out. Now we get to do the fun stuff of going in and doing all of the individual details. All right, let's do the fire bits. And hmm, this doing the smoke and the fire. Most of this is going to be colored on a screen layer, so it doesn't really matter too much. Screen just helps things glow, so it'll look better. And the finished piece, uh, so we'll just do this real quick. Like I said, this is the most boring part of the entire process. It's also the part of the process probably the most overlooked, misunderstood. They don't realize how important it actually is, even though it's stupid boring crap. All right. A little bit of this here. Okay. And I think most of that's hidden anyway, right? Yeah, doesn't matter. Mhm. Oops. And since I'm so zoomed in on the piece, you can I've got the navigator over here open so you can see kind of where I'm at and how tightly zoomed in I am. But it lets you follow along, give you an idea of where I'm at any point in time. A little bit of debris here. Can't believe Superman would allow debris to just fall freely on innocent citizens, but you know, he's busy right now. Maybe the Justice League can be there for backup. Guy Gardner, he cares about people. Oh my God, it's frozen up. All right, so no frames have dropped in OBS, but man, Photoshop is struggling. All right, so where are we at? So we got the flat colors in. Everything's looking all right. All right, just for giggles here. Just for giggles. So the black is not actually going to be black. I was thinking it would be maybe a dark purplish, something like that. So how do you color your line art? In Photoshop, I think it's easier in Clip Studio, but in Photoshop, make sure that only your layer is active that you want to change the color of. Go to channels, click this little guy here. And then we can go to hue, saturation. We'll make them a little darker. So now, but I'll probably change that to, I'll wind up changing it anyway, more like fire orange anyway, but I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, so to do that, you have your shadow, your layer with the things you want to color active. Go to channels, click this little selector icon, or you can control click blue, whatever. Go back, create a new layer, and then invert it. Invert your selection, and then fill it with whatever color you want. And then when you do that, you hit this little preserve transparency button, and now you can color them whatever you want. It doesn't matter because it'll only affect the pixels that have something on it. So now you have colored shadows. I see another thing I need to fix. Let's go in here. I think those are the only ones I missed. And I'm going to do the same thing for the buildings. See, like right now, bam, yellow. Obviously, yellow is a terrible. My goodness. Oh, the camera. Oh, the camera. Well, dang. I missed the 30-minute timer and I can't make it come back on right now. Hmm. Well, this is interesting. Let's see. Let me try something else real quick. Well, I don't think I can fix the camera while I'm recording or streaming. That's awesome. So, guess this is another quick 30-minute stream. Okay, well, hey, thanks for watching, and I will be back in a little bit when I figure this camera out.